Hey there, whoever that is. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope it's somebody who's welcome over here. Happy Tuesday to you, whoever you are. You guys hear those birds? It's such a pretty day. It's such a pretty day. A pretty day. A pretty day. The birds out here having a good time. Y'all know what they do. They chirp, they talk, they sing. They do their thing. They do their thing. The birds, they chirp, they talk, they sing, they do their thing. And as always, listen to the birds. Listen to the birds. Listen to the variety. Listen to the variety. No, I don't just like to hear birds. I love the variety of the birds. You know that there are different species, different sounds, different types for different species. They chirp in unison. They chirp in unison. And they sound so soothing, so wonderful, so remarkable, remarkably different. Who knows what they're doing? Some are just flying. I see a red bird right there. Two of them. Some are just perched on a limb. Some are building nests. Some are just chirping, talking, singing, doing their thing. But as always, listen to the birds sing, chirp, talk. Do you know why the free bird sings? I know you guys do. Just like I'm sure you know why the cage bird sings. Thank you for that thumbs up. I appreciate you. We kind of got a slow, moderate pace today. Today it is cloudy, sprinkling, feels good. Ain't nothing new about walking in the rain over here. But this is light. It's barely sprinkling. It's barely sprinkling. So we're going up this hill. Gonna try not to pull the hill quickly. Just slow down, put a lunge into that walk. Put a lunge into this hill, pulling this hill. Put a lunge into it. Work those calves, work those quads, work those hamstrings. Down and pull, down and pull, down and pull. Pay attention to your breathing. Pay attention to your breathing. Woo! Then the funny part about this hill is that it's curvy. It's curvy. Now this umbrella that I have is getting in the way. I thought it was gonna pour. It's still early, so we'll see. With this umbrella. But you know what? That's a good thing because it's a really huge umbrella. So it's adding a bit of resistance. It's adding some weight. It's adding some weight. Which is really a good thing because I don't have on my weights today. So I don't have on my hand weights. Nor do I have my ankle weights. So this umbrella is huge. It's like a 2-story house. It's like a 2-story house. It's a 2-story umbrella. Very protected. Very protected. Covers a lot. It covers a lot. This is a nice day. I often tell you guys, like when those loud cars and motorcycles and the ambulance come through, you know, I often say like excuse that noise, but it's just all about being in nature. You know, it's those natural things, but it's also just the sounds of day-to-day life. People getting around during the day, doing the things that they do, going to and from work, to and from school, to and from shopping. Kids playing. Kids don't play outside around here that much. Every now and again, you'll hear some outside. But those are just those sounds, that sound so natural. All of the ones that aren't natural are still natural. Like, what's more natural than the sound of kids playing? You think about a little town, like when you see people build those little model towns, those little replicas, especially like around Christmas time. But any little town, and they look so realistic. They'll have an ambulance, a fire station with the ambulance parked at not the ambulance, but with the fire trucks parked there. They'll have like a little taxi cab or maybe Uber now. Uber now or whatever form of transportation. But and even though it's not natural, it's kind of natural. Oh Lord. Here comes my friend, y'all. I haven't seen him in probably over a week, I know. I know you hear him. If you don't hear him, I see there's one person in here. Whoever hears him on the replay, you already know who that is. That's my little wiener friend. No bigger than probably a 10-pound bag of sugar. And he's always barking. Always barking. He hasn't seen me in a while. I haven't seen him in a while. So he better be glad to see me. I'm glad to see him. We don't fear all the dogs, but we fear some of them. I hadn't seen him in a while. He's looking back. I hadn't seen him in a while. He coming closer. He came closer today. I haven't seen him in so long. I know it's been 2 weeks since I seen him. Yeah, I saw him when I was down there. I saw him run off the porch. Hey, CJ. What's cracking? What you find? CJ, you a mess. You a mess. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, CJ. What's going on with you? How's your Tuesday? I hope it's a terrific Tuesday. Like what? We got Talkative Tuesday, Terrific Tuesday, Thirsty. Well, Thirsty Thursday. I use thirsty on Thursday. Thirsty doesn't always mean a bad thing, okay? You could be thirsty for success in a good way, all right? So thirsty doesn't always mean a bad thing. When we say thirsty over here in Lions Pride, we're talking about thirsty to improve, thirsty for success, thirsty to make good things happen, positive things happen, to make good things shape. That's what we mean when we say Thirsty Thursday over here. But today's Tuesday. Again, I hope you guys have had a terrific Tuesday. Are you having a Taco Tuesday? Are you? So what you guys got going on today? It doesn't matter if you're in the, if you catch the replay, leave it in the comment section. You're thirsty for me? CJ, you joking, but you know it's a lot of thirstiness on this app. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I had to figure out which way I want to go because there are a few new dogs in the area, and usually they're with their owners, but you have to, you never know. You never know. So what's going on, CJ? How has your Tuesday been? If you're still here, tell me how your Tuesday has been. Hey, I'm good. Thanks. Oh, no, I was going to go the other way, but I decided to come this way. Just chilling. I'm hoping the rain comes on in. Yeah. My Tuesday has been good. How was your? It's been good. It's been really good. Glad to be off work. I was glad to get off work, CJ. I could not wait to get off work. So, and work was good. Work was good today. It was a so-so day. I always say, people sometimes say that, Monday is a hard day. Let me tell you, that can be true. But sometimes it just depends. Sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday can be just as hard as Monday. It just depends on what's going on. It depends on what's going on. And if you work in a place that's open on the weekends, just like Walmart or something. If you work at Walmart, every day has the possibility of being busy, busy, busy. The potential to be busy. And you get an easy day, you don't know how to act. I don't work at Walmart, but just being in there sometimes, like early in the mornings, it's always the best time to go to Walmart. It's not busy. You got stay-at-home moms or dads. You got the retirees. You got the people who maybe just dropped the kids off at school. They're running in there to get them something for lunch. I don't. You got IG. You know what? I had one. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Like when you don't use it in so long, what happens to it? I can't get in it. Can you just do a new one? Can you just do another one? These apps are so wild. If you associate an email to one account and you can't get in, a lot of times they don't want you associating that email with another account. That's crazy. So I don't have IG, but I often look at it through my friends and stuff. But plus you don't have to have an account, so I often just look on there sometimes. What's your IG? What's your IG? Is it public? Because I do know you can make them private, right? So is it public? I think I'm going to sit this umbrella down and watch. As soon as I sit this umbrella down, it's going to start to pour. Let's see. CJ7. Let me get a screenshot of it. Did I mess something up? I got it. Okay. So like if you forget and can you like restart your IG with the same email? Like can they like reset your account or something? Send you some type of code? Hey, Latif, what's going on? Latif said hi. Okay, that's your IG. I got you, CJ. I got you, because I know you people, you be over there on that music, don't you? You be on that music over there. You West Coast, right? What's going on, Latif? Welcome into the chat. Subscriber, moderator, content creator. CJ, content creator. Yep, I thought so. See, I remember. I might not remember everything everybody tells me, but I remember that. You on that West Coast vibe. Yep. I remember. So I'm gonna check your IG out. And I'm gonna see if I can get into mine. See, that's why it's always best to not just have your passcodes and passwords and stuff in your phone. What if you lose your phone? And what if you don't have it saved in the cloud or whatever? But you know, you just sometimes there's always when you get locked out of something or you need something, it's like there's gonna be that one password that you didn't put in your phone, didn't save in your phone. So I still believe in writing stuff down. Hey sis, how you doing? Enjoy your walk. Thank you, bro. I'm doing good. Just out here enjoying this nice weather. It looked like it was, it's been raining a little bit, but I got this big old umbrella. I'm talking about, I was saying earlier, this umbrella is so big, it's like a duplex. It's like 2 stories. This umbrella is huge. And now it's not even raining. It's not even raining now. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Whew, I can kind of slow today. I worked today and I did 2 classes. So, yeah, we chilling today. And I worked out per usual. So it's been a busy day. Hold up, y'all. Okay, I was being nosy. I was being nosy. The East Coast. The East Coast. Yep, the East Coast. All the way across the country. Man, this dog right here, this dog is crazy. This dog is crazy. I don't know what kind of dog it is, but it looks like it's about the size of a Doberman. It's about the size of a Doberman, but it's not a Doberman. I don't know what kind of dog it is. But this dog here is crazy, y'all. He's crazy. Every time this girl brings this dog outside, I'm sure she brings him out sometimes, but it's like if somebody is on the street, she can't bring him out because he goes crazy. He goes crazy. She has to literally pick him up. She has to literally pick him up and take him inside of the house. Pick him up and take him inside of the house. Because he goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That dog is wild. I can't believe it's been 22 minutes. 22 minutes. 22 minutes, okay. Am I gonna stay on here an hour today? It seems like it's later than it is, but it's not. It's not that late. It's just really cloudy. It's really cloudy out here. So CJ, are you you know what? I cannot even lie to you. I haven't been to your channel since the last time you were in my chat. And we went over there. I told a couple of people to go. I know I went and looked. Have you done anything? Have you done any music lately, like within the past 2 weeks? Have you done any music within the past 2 weeks? Well, Latif does music too. We got music people in the chat today. We got the music people in the chat today. Today, we have music people. Today, we have music people. Okay. tasty. Y'all got taste. Tasty Tuesday. It's Tasty Tuesday. No, not in the last 2 weeks. Okay, okay. So is that, do you do music full time? Is that like your thing, your job, your career, your occupation? How many ways can we say it? Job, career, occupation, livelihood, way of living? Some people do fun things. You know, like they say, if you enjoy your job, if you love your job, it's not a job. It's a job technically, but if you enjoy what you do for work, you know, whether you work for yourself or work for someone else, if you enjoy what you do, office jobs are like, you get up, you go, you come home. You get up, you go, you wait for 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or whatever time you get off, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time you get off, you wait for that and you go home. And it's like the same thing every time that you go to work. And maybe you're not doing the exact same thing, but maybe you're just so like over it. And maybe that's all you can find right now. And you're waiting for something better, or at least something different, something that you'll enjoy more. So sometimes, you know, even a job can be stressful in the fact that not that the job itself is stressful, but it's stressful when you're working a job that you don't really like what you're doing. That can be very stressful. To work a job that you don't enjoy, or that you don't at least, like, maybe you don't go and enjoy it, but maybe, you know, at least feel like you're doing something worthwhile. You know, you don't really necessarily have to enjoy your job to feel like you're doing something worthwhile. Say, for instance, teachers. The medical profession. Doctors, things like that, where you do enjoy your job, but sometimes you get to a point where you're worn out. Oh, we hit the 10K steps already, where you're worn out, or you're just looking for some diversity. You want something different. And so you start looking for something else. So it's not that you really dislike your job, but you've just grown tired of it for the minute. Like, I've known people to just get frustrated, you know, and they go and they do something else. And guess what? They go right back to the job that they once loved. It's like they have to leave that job and do something else in order to realize that that job is still their passion. That their job is still their passion. Yep, people have to stop doing what they're doing for a while, do something else. Then they realize that, okay, I'm ready to go back. They're ready to go back home to what they once loved. And they still love it, they just got tired. They got burned out. Job burnout, fatigue. Y'all ever get job fatigue? Fatigued by the job that you're doing. Maybe you've been doing it for a long, long time. Sometimes not that long. Sometimes you can get burned out within a couple of years, a couple of months. It just depends on the type of job it is. How strenuous it is, how stressful it is. You know, how much it weighs on you mentally. Because a lot of times, like with this being Mental Health Awareness Month, this is May, a lot of times we talk about mental health. But you have to get specific sometimes, and that's why we leave it to the professionals, right? Because there are so many components to mental health on what can play a heavy, heavy part on your mental health, okay? Sometimes it's not your family, your friends. It could be your job. It could be your job putting so much stress on you till it has you in a debilitating state of mental health. Okay, your mental health is like because of your job. Because it can be stressful. It can be demanding. Maybe you don't like your crew. Maybe you don't like your crew. It could be a lot of reasons. A plethora of reasons. And but you have to work. You have to provide for your family. So until you can find something else, you're kind of stuck at that job that's no longer satisfying you. And it can take a toll on you mentally. Then you already, especially if you already have some other things going on. So when you talk about mental health, we can't just throw this broad blanket over it and just say, you never know what people are going through. You gotta go a little bit, you gotta dig a little bit, right? Mental illness is real. What do you mean by that statement? Like, common people have gotten so used to saying mental illness is real that if you ask them what do they mean by that statement, how many of them can truly explain what they mean? Besides saying, well, it exists, it's out there. We know that. We know that. We know that. But, of course, like we say over here in Lions Pride, we do not what? Medically, professionally, clinically, diagnose, assess, diagnose, treat, or follow up, evaluate anybody. Right? We drop nuggets over here. We drop nuggets. And hopefully, someone will pick those nuggets up, research them through reputable sources, take them to their healthcare team, be it their doctor, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, injuries in the past, occupational therapist, physical therapist, your nutritionist, your dietitian, your fitness coach, your motivational coach. There are a lot of different types of professional coaches out there. Your psychiatrist, your psychologist, right? Your social worker, your nutritionist, your dietitian. I just named off 14 people that could possibly be a part of your healthcare team. So do your research, take your information to them, and see how it applies directly to you before you listen to someone telling you that mental illness is real, okay? So it's not just about physical, it's about mental as well. So you have to, I name off like 14 people in the healthcare team. Any one or combination of those 14 people, specialty doctors, 15, can be a part of your healthcare team. So take your gripes to them. Take your challenges to them. Especially when your challenges are getting the best of you mentally, don't be afraid to take your challenges to them. Because see, we're in a day and time where everybody wants to be a doctor. Everybody wants to be a specialist. Everybody wants to be a professional. Why? Because they know auntie, uncle, cousin, friend, or maybe even themselves, right? But all they can do is tell you their experience. And in their experience, they can be helpful. Don't get me wrong, they can be helpful. That's called dropping nuggets. So they can tell you something about their experience, about a family member's experience, about a friend's experience, about a frenemy's experience, about an enemy's experience, about somebody they don't really know but they happen to encounter. But don't take that and apply that to you, okay? Don't do that. Don't take information that somebody has about somebody else and apply it to your life, especially when it comes to your physical and mental, emotional health, okay? Don't do that. Like I said, everybody with this World Wide Web, okay? With this thing that we now call the internet, and we've called the internet for years and years now. And along came what? Social media. Along came social media. Along came Google. Along came a web browser. Now that you can browse and search the web, people tend to believe that they are professionals. People want to educate people. And that's okay to share what you've learned. But you have to, that's a sticky, that's a tricky line to walk. It's a tricky line to walk. And that's why we don't go into a lot of detail over here. Because some people have mistakenly feel like allegedly covers them from everything, and it doesn't. There are court cases that have proven that people have done even more than use the term allegedly to cover their A asterisk asterisk, and it didn't work. It didn't work, right? So there have been court cases where if you told somebody something and you were wrong or you were off or you tried to kind of led them and had a great influence over them and you didn't know what the heck you were talking about, like there's no scientific research, and there's maybe research or information on it, but it's not reputable. It's not reputable. So you have to make sure that your sources are good, reputable sources. And y'all, ain't nothing wrong with the good old-fashioned library, okay? Some of the information may be old, but at least you have a reputable source, okay? And you have the opportunity to look up new information. I always tell people do their own. Exactly, bro. Exactly. I always tell them, don't do anything you hear me say over here. Don't do anything you see me do. If you do so at your own risk. Okay? Whatever you see me do or hear me say, go do your research. And again, reputable sources. Okay? Reputable sources. And I'm just going to generally throw out the kind of main ones, the .edus. But that depends on the place. That depends on the school or hospital, research hospital that's putting the information out, right? Right? Don't look at, and I mean, even when you look at the reputable ones, don't just run with what you see on the web. It's general information. So, but you can still get some of your research from there, you know, and take it to your healthcare provider, or take it to your mental health provider, or take it to whoever, however you're feeling. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them you look stuff up. Now, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of times when you look stuff up, hey, Lakeitha, sis, hey, Lunch Fry and Chat. A lot of times when you look stuff up, doctors are quick to shut it down. Because doctors don't really like agreeing with specific schools, specific research schools, or specific trains of thought. Doctors have been educated. And that's why I say I don't go into great detail over here. Because look, I pay for this education. And before I put the real information out, I want to get paid. Okay? I get paid for the real information. So I do the minor stuff, just the general stuff. And I always let people know, especially in this country, information on the West Coast can be slightly different from the East Coast. Usually when things change, the changes travel across the country, right? East to west, north to south, south to north, west to east. So you may be doing something slightly different out there on the West Coast than what we're doing on the East Coast, or vice versa. So always make sure that your source is reputable, okay? And I always tell you guys, that's why when you're in certain fields, you have to get continuing education every 2 to 3 years. In some cases, every year. Right? Some cases every year. Think of it like this. CPR certification. You typically have to get that every couple of years. Like that's an easy example. To get basic life-saving, to be able to practice basic life-saving measures, you typically get that every couple of years, right? And guess what you have to do? You have to get it renewed, because if you say get your CPR in 2020, you go and you do what you need to do, you get your CPR card. And then whenever you got it in 2020, say like March 1st, well, March 1st, 2022, well, guess what it does? Lakeitha says, right, so true. Yeah, you really do. Lakeitha, that's why I hate it. That's why I harp on that so much. When I see people coming to my chat, y'all know I always get mad about that. And then I go to their channel and I hear them regurgitating something that I know they've never said until they came into my chat. And I'm sure they've gone into other people's chat too. And they get a little bit from them. And then they start to sound crazy because they start trying to put what I say in different words and they really don't fully understand it. That's why I don't go into great detail. If they can't handle the minor detail I go into, they definitely can't handle the great detail I would go into, right? So that's why I say stuff like your heart is a muscle, the most important muscle in your body. It pumps. It has valves that pumps. They have certain directions that they go, right? Your heart supplies your blood. Your blood feeds nutrients to those tissues, right? It feeds them, okay? Now, how exactly? I'm not going to go into detail with that because that would be almost like teaching science class. And believe it or not, somebody will look at my subscriber count, okay? They'll hear what I'm saying, and they'll go to their channel and try to repeat it. The simple thing, something simple like, to me, your joints have synovial cavities. Those synovial cavities create synovial fluid, right? The synovial fluid helps to keep those joints lubricated so that you can move more effectively. And the more that you move, generally speaking, unless you have some type of ailment or some reason why, or an injury, the more that you move, the more synovial fluid you create. And it keeps the joints lubricated. See, some people can't remember all that verbatim. So they'll sit over there and say, they'll go and say, lubricate them joints. That fluid lubricates them joints. But see, you gotta be careful when you say that fluid. Because see, sometimes people can have an excess of synovial fluid. You ever heard somebody say they got fluid removed off of a knee or something like that? So you have to be careful with what you go and regurgitate to people. And so that's why I keep it mild. Because I have learned from 4 people specifically, that they will go to their channels and say everything that you say verbatim. And I don't know why they don't think that you're going to know, because just like they come to your channel, you go to their channels, right? Even when they fall out with you and don't come and don't drop down, they're in your bushes. They're in your bushes. Yes, they will, Lakeitha. They sure will. I learned a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lakeitha. And see, and that's the goal. I'm not trying to teach a class. I'm just trying to let people know so that maybe if they're interested in something or they want to talk to their healthcare provider, they can bring it up. Now, like I said, some healthcare providers are straight by the book. Everything is research, research, research. Medical, medical, medical. Some incorporate holistic measures into their healthcare. You know, those kind of like DO doctors. They incorporate holistic. So you can do home remedies. They don't mind you doing home remedies. You have some doctors who they are totally against home remedies. Like you'll say, well, does apple cider vinegar help to do whatever? I mean, that's what they say. I mean, you could try it if you like. That's the attitude they kind of have. Because see, if you start trying things on your own, say for instance, you ask them about 3 things and 2 of those things work. They feel like you may not keep your appointments the way that you should. Okay? Now, some of them are just totally against anything holistic. Right? Some of them, they just want you to get your checkups the way you should, which that's what you're supposed to do. And they want you to like move, keep moving and working out. So they want you to do that. I don't know a healthcare provider that doesn't want you to do that. I don't care if he's like a by the book kind of research guy or gal, or if he's like into medical and holistic therapy. They all want you to move. Because moving does help your body to make the synovial fluid that you need. And you do need it in order to keep those joints lubricated. Even if you have arthritis, you still make, you know, some people say, oh, they have bone on bone. Well, you still, their synovial cavities probably aren't making as much fluid, but you're still making some, you know, maybe not enough to keep you out of pain, but you're making some. So most doctors want you to move as much as you can, when you can. Right? And that's why I always say, stop being in competition. This app has people doing the craziest things that they know they shouldn't do, out here trying to impress. You know, y'all know how they say dress to impress? And I don't even think they're really trying to impress. They're just trying to get those subscriber counts up. They're trying to get those watch hours. and they see you do something, and if they see you got a certain count, they think that works. But I tell people all the time, my walking and talking didn't get me my subscriber count. If anything, that loses me some subscribers. My nephew used to game over here years ago before I ever started even bothering YouTube. And I took all of that stuff off. And I did some things myself to get some of them, but that was the bulk of it. Late at night, when he probably should have been studying. Y'all know how they get in these rooms. And there was this other thing, I can't think of the name of it. What is the one where it's like really catered toward gamers? Is it, what is it? Oh my gosh. There's another app that's really catered toward gamers. So when he finally kind of got off into that more, he kind of left YouTube. And what else? He used to be on YouTube. They been left Facebook alone because he be saying Facebook for old people. So he been left Facebook alone. But he has graduated college now. So it used to be like you could do one thing and get like 1,000 subscribers off of one video. Get 2,000 off of one video. So they be thinking, oh, she walk and talk and she got this many. And I'm like, bless their hearts. Bless, hey Betty. Retirement Days, Comfort Foods and More says, hello everyone. Hey Betty, welcome to the live. Betty hung out with me yesterday. I was about to get off here. Betty jumped in there. I was like, Betty's still hanging in there. We were talking about that yesterday, Lakeitha, how, you know, when you're on live, you know, you don't expect people to stay on there with you, but you do appreciate the support. Like when people can hang out with you for a while, you appreciate their support. That's why I try to get off within an hour. No more than 2. No more than 2. You know, within 2, I figure it's just like our parents used to say, it don't take all night to do anything, okay? It don't take all night to do anything. I don't care if you're doing it for monetization, for watch hours, or whatever. It don't take all night to do anything. Now, you want to sit up and be on there for 10, 15, 20 hours, you can. And people who do that, usually they're realistic enough to know that people will come in and out. Because if you sit on there for 10, 11, 12 hours, you've almost done 2 work shifts. And I say anybody can do that can go and do work from home and make plenty of money. Make plenty of money. But hey, some people do things and it's just weird. It's weird to me, but hey, maybe they love it. If they love it, I gotta at least like it, huh? If they like it, I can sure love it. But, you know, just some doctors, back to talking about these doctors, some of them, and they're really great doctors, but they stick to medicine only. Like, or at least they come off to their patients, you know, they don't want you to do some of those holistic things. And like I said, I don't necessarily, like some people say, yeah, because they want to make you spend money. It's all about the pharmaceuticals. That could be a part of it. I do believe that when it comes to certain doctors. But some doctors, I don't think it's about them wanting you to spend money, but I think it's about them feeling like we're just going to stick to medical and medicine, because if I trust them to say they're going to go exercise, say for instance, you got a number that's elevated, and the doctor says, well, you know, you don't do much activity. You go to work, but that's about it, and you're not doing a lot even at work. Maybe if you were to exercise, starting out 3 days a week. If you don't exercise at all, he might say start off 3 days a week. At least 2 to get into the rhythm of things. And then after about 2 weeks, increase it by a day. If he gives you that chance to do that, guess what? He's not going to know. When you go to your next appointment, he's not going to know if you're lying if you say you did it. Just because your numbers don't change, if you're telling the truth, maybe it just hadn't been long enough. Usually they'll tell you, well, come back in 6 weeks. Let's see what it's looking like. And then if they look a little better, they may say, okay, come back in 6 weeks again. But they also look at your vibe. They pay attention to when you respond. See, you can catch a stranger's vibe. You know how like when you raise your kids or your parents raised you and they knew when you were lying? Now that doesn't mean that they were right Johnny on the money all the time. Because I know it's been times where I knew I was telling the truth. My parents be like, I'm gonna ask you one more time. But you know, the reason they're like that is either because you've lied before, which we all have, or It's just something about the situation where they're not quite believing you yet, right? And so the best that you can hope for is that you don't get in trouble, don't get a spanking, don't get a whooping. And if you do, at least they apologize if they find out that you were telling the truth. But doctors do that too. They look at your body language. When they ask you a question, if you saw them last and you're like, we'll use an easy one. If you're 10 pounds overweight now, and he tells you start exercising these many days a week, and he gives you like a not really a diet, but kind of like a meal plan. And you come back, and not only are you 10 pounds heavier, you're 14, 15 pounds heavier. He's not going to get upset about that because, you know, it takes people time to get adjusted to new things, okay? And he's going to probably tell you, well, don't be discouraged. You know, I just wanted to see if it could work within 6 weeks, but we're going to wait another 6 weeks. And if you're still at that 15, like that extra 5, depending on your doctor, depending on the situation, depending on your health status, he may keep working with you. But it's going to come a point where within that year, he's going to say, are you really following the meal plan that we came up with? Are you really exercising the way that you're telling me you're exercising? Now, that's going to make you feel uncomfortable because he's asking you, so you're feeling like he don't believe me or he don't trust me. But, so you're going to kind of maybe clench or, you know, appear a little stressed. But doctors have a way, people in general have a way of kind of feeling your vibe. If you start to stutter, you start to blink in those eyes, he's going to know that you're probably not doing everything that you guys have agreed that you need to do. Right? And then he's probably going to tell you, well, okay, we waited 6 weeks and you picked up 5 more pounds, no big deal. We waited another 6 weeks, which is 12 weeks now, roughly 3 months. And you picked up 7 more, you know, an additional 2, or you're kind of still the same. You know, and hopefully, you know, everything's health-wise, generally you're healthy. You know, because sometimes certain medicines, he's going to take into account that certain medicines make you gain weight. You know, are you stressed? If you're stressed and you started, say for instance, he's going to ask you what's going on. You have any things emotional going on, right? Because if he can kind of feel like he believes you, if you say, Doc, I'm sticking to the plan, you know, and I've increased my exercise, then he's going to want to know, are you stressed out mentally? Because believe it or not, a lot of people eat when they're stressed out, but you can still gain weight even if you don't eat when you're stressed out. Because when you're stressed out, your metabolism goes down, right? Stress takes a toll on your immune system, right? A nice, good, healthy metabolism is, but if the medicines that you're on, if you're on any, don't usually do that, they're not going to look at that. They're going to say, okay, are you stressed? If you're stressed in some way, you know, most of them will work with you. And if you feel like he's not or she's not working with you, then you have the opportunity to, you know, to kind of look somewhere else, you know. And maybe you like the doctor and you just feel like that situation is just not getting worked out. Like, you know, and maybe you don't want to change doctors. But ask him, how about let me see a nutritionist, a dietitian? Because sometimes, you know, that's a specialty. And doctors themselves, especially if you got a doctor that's a health fanatic, he can really help you with that, or she can help you with that. But a lot of times, they'll send you to a specialist because maybe the diet plan that he gave you isn't sufficient or isn't catered to your needs well enough. Yes, I have an aunt eat and gain weight when she's stressed. Yep. Yeah, Lakeitha. See, some people will eat when they're stressed. They will eat and they will gain weight. Even if they don't eat, some people will eat junk food, but some people, they may not even eat junk food. They just may eat throughout the day and night. Like when they're stressed, maybe they're not getting as much sleep because they're stressed. So usually when you're up, what do you eventually want to do? Eat, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be junk. You know, it could be a chicken breast. You can go in there and get some leftovers that maybe you ate at 5 o'clock and you had a snack around 8 to keep you from eating again. But it's 10 o'clock. You're usually in bed by 9 or 10. Say it's 10 o'clock, you're wide awake and you're hungry. You may go in there and get leftovers and get a whole nother meal, you know? So just that increase in calories, the caloric intake has increased. So, and it may not even be junk. You're stress eating. So it'll, while he's got you on this plan, he's trying to regulate it through his office where you're stressed. So you're doing the exercises that he told you to do, and you're pretty much following the diet, but maybe you're still eating more of the food. And especially if it's junk, you already know what time it is. If it's those empty calories, you already know what time that is. Empty calories as in alcohol, sodas, processed foods, you already know what time it is. So that takes us into what? Proper rest. So if you're stressed out, you're probably not getting the proper rest because you're staying up later, and you're probably still staying up late, but you gotta get up early for work, okay? And maybe you're not a breakfast person. Maybe you eat around lunchtime. But when you get home, instead of having your 5 o'clock dinner and a snack around 7:30, you're eating another whole meal at 8, 7, 8 o'clock. Even though you didn't have breakfast, right? You're eating another whole meal that your body's not used to you having. It'd be a healthy meal, but the caloric intake has increased. So sometimes there are so many reasons that people may have problems losing weight. It could be genetics. Women, when their metabolism slows down, women and men, where does it usually settle? That waist. That extra weight usually settles in the waist. Hey, Chef Finest Wine, bro, how you doing? How you doing? And that goes for men and women. So if your doctor has told you, he's giving you a meal plan, and he's giving you an exercise regimen, and you go back, and instead of being maybe 5 to 7, maybe 10 pounds down, you're the same, or you've gained an extra 5 to 7 to 10 pounds. It doesn't mean you're not doing what he said. And I know it's frustrating, but maybe you're stressed. And maybe you're eating what he told you, but you haven't thought about the fact that you added an extra meal in there, right? Because you're stressed. And when you're stressed, you usually don't get enough what? Sleep. So when you're asleep and you're up long enough, if you're up an extra 2 hours, 9 times out of 10, you're going to eat something else, right? And those extra calories, especially after the age of about 40, tends to settle right there in that way, waist. You could be a woman with an hourglass figure, and then it's like all of a sudden you got that little tummy that's not going away as fast because the metabolism has slowed down, right? And then don't talk about it, the metabolism has slowed down and now you're stressed too. So you still got that fine shape under there, but it's like you got a beer belly. Yep, Chef. Chef says all in the waist. Lakita says in the waist. Yep. So you still got a beer belly right there, and you're looking over at your man, your husband, your mate. Like, he the one drink beer. Why I got the beer belly? And then both of y'all may be sitting with a beer belly, okay? But say for instance he's not, and he's the same age you are. Maybe you guys are a couple of years. You're in the same age bracket. Well, men have more muscle anyway, right? So as they get older, it is hard for the weight to come off of them as well. But still, that testosterone, okay? Men have more muscle, right? Muscle burns calories. Fat don't burn nothing. Fat don't burn nothing. Fat just says blah. Fat just says blah. It sits there. So men, yes, some of them, it's hard for them to kind of keep the weight down too. It was so funny. Y'all know how small Snoop Dogg is. Well, Wiz Khalifa got into shape. He's boxing. He's looking real good. And guess what? Snoop was like, that skinny joker. But Wiz Khalifa looks good. He looks good now. Now, I don't know about today, but recently he has been looking good. like, because he's slender too. But he started, going by the right, he got into eating the right way to build some muscle. He got into this health kick, and Wiz Khalifa looks good. Hell, he influenced Snoop Dogg to start boxing. Look, he's laughing. He influenced Snoop Dogg to start boxing. Because y'all know now, some people are just going to be skinny. Some people are just going to be fat. Some people are just going to be, like people like to say, thick, solid, slim, thick. They got a whole bunch of names now for basically what boils down to small, average, heavy, obese. Okay? Small, average, heavy, obese. And that's not being ugly. That's the general consensus. If you go to your doctor's office, your doctor, the paperwork is not going to say, oh, she's slim thick today. She weighs one so. Woo, improvement from last visit. She's slim thick today, not just slim. The paperwork is not going to say that, okay? The paperwork is not going to say, oh, she thick fine. She weighs so and the height of so, she thick fine. It's going to tell if you're overweight or if you're obese. That's what it's going to say. Look at Chef says slim thick. Okay? When you go into the doctor's office, that's why I say it just boils down to your average. And average is just what man has come up with. I feel like average is now, of course, there are times where you have to pay attention. Okay? Because sometimes we tell ourselves something to justify us not doing something to change things, right? So if you know that you're 5'5" and you're 280, maybe you feel great. You probably can run a marathon, but you know that that you need to slim down a little bit, right? It's just like you have some people who are really, really, really slender, who could stand to pick up a little bit more muscle, a little bit more fat. So, and it's like no one solution. Like they have these boards, just like when you take your newborn baby to see if they're thriving. It's just like a general consensus. They just kind of look at babies on average. Everything it's about the averages, right? So what works for the average doesn't work for all. The A means average, but it doesn't mean all, right? It applies to being average, but not all. So you got some people who are thick or may be considered on paperwork as obese or overweight, but they can move without huffing and puffing because that's all they've ever done. See, it may be hereditary. So they've conditioned their body because they move, they exercise, they keep moving, they're consistent, and they're persistent about being consistent. But it's hereditary. And sometimes when things are hereditary, sometimes we can improve those things, but it takes a lot of hard work. And sometimes you can improve them. But at least they're exercising. At least they're putting in the work. And at least they feel good. At least they feel good. And that's why when I say it's not about how many steps. People have gotten on this kick about, oh, look at my watch. I'll show my watch from time to time. Because like a day like today with work and out here, man, it been hit. It hit like 20K a little while ago. Okay? Okay? So people are in such competition with the steps. It's not about how many steps. It's about how you felt when you took the steps. Cornbread fed, collard green fed, Great Northern beef fed. Yeah, Chef. And sometimes, cause a lot of times, y'all, you'll see like kids, their parents are like slim or average, what would you call average, not too slim, not too thick. But those kids, man, they're not only just taller, but they're bigger. Because sometimes some kids are smaller than their parents. But sometimes you see kids and you look at their weight and you're like, maybe their parents were big like that when they were young. And it could be. But sometimes it's what they are eating. It's what they're eating. Sometimes it is the diet. But I know it's frustrating for people who know that it's not the diet, right? As I said, it can be hereditary. And sometimes people, it's not the diet. Sometimes they have something going on and the doctor has to kind of figure out what it is. Sometimes there's nothing going on. They're just gonna That gene jumped from grandma or great grandma to the child. Miss the mom came from grandma, or miss mom and grandma came from great granny. You look at a picture of great granny and you look at your child and you be like, huh? Your great granny is how many generations from your child? It's your child, it's you, the grandmother, the great granny. That's 4 generations, right? Well, y'all know how they say somebody somewhere, your great, 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 great somewhere, you'll see a picture of them and one of your kids may look like their twin. That's the same way with weight and other genes. It works the same way sometimes. Hi, Kalia World. Is that right? I think I remember you. Is it Kalia World? How are you? How you doing today? Thank you for coming into the live. Thank you. Thank you, my bro, Chef Finest Wine. Latif was in here earlier. CJ was in here. Betty from Retirement Days. And, of course, Lakeitha, the supportive Lakeitha. Thank you guys for coming in today. It has been an hour. See, when y'all came in and I started talking more, time flew. The time flew. I appreciate you guys for coming in. As always, you know I appreciate the subscribers. Of course, I appreciate my moderators. I appreciate the content creators who come through, who are also subscribers, moderators, content creators. And YouTube, we appreciate you too. Okay, we be fussing sometimes with YouTube. I try not to fuss at YouTube because it is what it is. They're going to do what they're going to do. And sometimes you got to look at what you're doing. Some people aren't on here for their content to be pushed, and to get a lot of views. They're just on here because they love being on here. They just enjoy it. But if you're on here and you want your content pushed, then you got to find a way to get it pushed, okay? So I appreciate each and every one of you guys, everybody that I just named, everything I just said about YouTube. I appreciate you because at the end of the day, the platform is free. The platform is free. Hey, Bird. Bird says, hey, Lion's Pride. She's dropping those kissy face and heart emojis. Thank you for coming to the live, Bird. We just been on here talking about losing weight, why people don't lose weight, why some people can't lose weight maybe. Maybe it's genetics, maybe it's hereditary, maybe there's a condition. You just never know. You never know. Maybe they just eat a lot. That is still an option. Maybe they just eat a lot. Why sometimes kids may be way heavier or thicker than the parents, or maybe the kids are way slimmer. And then you think, well, maybe when they become adults, you know. And then a lot of times that does happen. Once your kids grow up, especially if they go to college, y'all, because a lot of them will get that college spread. See, some kids get that college spread, and you know they come home and their mama looking like, girl, where you get those hips from? They looking at their son like, you better push back from that table, boy. His stomach looking a little thick, the chest sticking out. Okay. And then as they get a little bit older, maybe into the late 20s, they start to look more like their parents, one or the other or both. And so they start to pick up some of the other things too as far as their weight. But then you have some who they'll always be smaller than the parents, or they'll always be bigger than the parents. Because maybe they got it from granny, great granny, auntie so-and-so, uncle so-and-so. Sometimes you can look at a person and they look more like their uncle than they do their parents, more like their auntie than they do their parents. So there are so many reasons why people gain weight, have a hard time losing weight, or have a hard time gaining weight. Nothing may be wrong. They're just small. They're small framed, and it's just, you know, what they will have to do again is get to a particular diet, right? Get with a good nutritionist, a good dietitian. If their doctor can't seem to come up with the formula to help, he'll send them to someone who specializes. Berber speaking to everybody. Chef said, hit that like button. Thank y'all for those 7 thumbs up. I appreciate you. Okay? It's Talk to Him Tuesday. We're trying to just talk to him. So there are so many reasons why I don't go into great detail about the things I discuss as it relates to health, y'all. Because when you start talking about health, just simply saying, I'm not telling you to do this, that doesn't cover it, right? Maybe for the masses it does, because those people, they're not worried about, oh, they're putting out misinformation and they have a license. They have a registration. They have a certification. See, some of us have all of those things. So we have to be really careful about what we put out, right? And you may put out something, again, that a person takes to their doctor and their doctor is like, no, I don't think that's true. Where do you live? A lot of things are based on geographics. It may be some breaking research that's going on the West Coast that hadn't made it to the East Coast yet, hadn't made it up north yet, the Midwest, down south, and vice versa. So they might not be on it yet, but within a year's time, 6 months to a year, it may be the new thing to do or not do. Where do you find that? Through continuing education. And so those of us who have those registrations and licenses and certifications, we have to get that every couple of years. Some people every year, some people every 3 years. So be careful. Even when you look, if you go to somebody's channel and it says that they are a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, whatever, professional like that, a mechanic, you got to check your stuff for yourself, right? And always use those reputable sources and take your butt into the library, okay? The libraries are still open. They're valuable sources. Yes, they have old resources. And guess what, y'all? Some of those old resources still stand today. They're tried and true. But some things have changed. So make sure that you are looking at the sites when you do go online, the literature when you read, that's most up to date. It'll even tell you this last revised January 2025. It'll even tell you. So try to get the most up-to-date stuff. Listening to people talk about their experience, that's good, that's fine. Those are nuggets. That's why it's over here we drop nuggets. I can tell you something. Somebody in the chat, you guys could tell each other something. You could tell me something. Thank you guys for speaking to each other, Chef and Bird. Thank you everybody that came in for acknowledging each other and speaking. But it just depends on your situation, your health status, your fitness level, and what you have going on. See, sometimes people will be like, oh, that ain't, and I can't stand people like that. Like if they haven't had the issue, it's easy to say, what? Oh, that's not me. Keep on living. That might not be you, but you don't know what, Don't make people feel a type of way when they have certain things going on. Okay? Even if it's reckless behavior, because when reckless behavior, even though you maybe know better than the action that you did, you didn't intend for whatever happened to happen, okay? And that's easier said than done because we're all human. We hear something that's eye-opening or shocking. We're like, what? That's just what we do. That's just what we do. But as adults, we should be able to, at the end of the day, after the initial shock, okay, after the initial shock, calm down, pipe down, and just understand that sometimes things happen. And just wish the best for people, okay? Just wish the best for people. Because I'm sure you would hope that people would wish the best for you and yours. So, y'all, it's been 1 hour and 11 minutes. Again, I try to get out of here in like an hour, hour and a half. Every now and again, we'll go 2 hours. But it's cloudy today. It feels good. And actually, I got started a little earlier today than I did yesterday. But it's starting to get dark. Y'all know I walk in the rain. I walk when it's dark. The only thing I don't like about walking when it's dark, I'm just going to go. Sometimes you have these cats out here that look like dogs. Sometimes, y'all, you have these cats. Y'all look at the legs move, okay? Did I tell y'all that today earlier? Look at the legs move. I hope that you're encouraged to get up and move your body in some way, some shape, form, or fashion, okay? Look at the legs move. Over here, we say, look at the legs move, okay? We've been saying that for like 3 years or so. Look at the legs move. Hopefully that encourages you. Because like I said, I don't motivate nobody. If I motivate somebody, I want it to be a child or a young adult, right? I want to motivate it because I feel like though motivation and encouragement are synonymous, synonyms, like words, to me there's a slight difference. I feel like when I got to motivate somebody, I got to kind of help pull them up. And if I'm going to pull somebody up, I want it to be a young adult. I want it to be a child. Or I want it to be someone who I know and love and I know that they'll appreciate it and they're at their wit's end. But for people I don't know, for strangers, I just want to encourage them to continue to do it. If they've already gotten started, motivate yourself, okay? Allow God, seek guidance from God and allow God to Open up and let him see you, show you ways to motivate yourself. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, by the shoelaces. Or seek motivation from people who truly know you and love you. Get pure motivation from them. I ain't trying to motivate no more, okay? Because when I motivate, crazy stuff happens with grown folks. So I'm just trying to motivate young kids and young adults. Adults, your butt over 40, whatever you got going on, I want to encourage you. Because I feel like if I'm encouraging you, then you've already started, okay? If I'm encouraging you, then I feel like I'm encouraging you to continue. I feel like you've done the hard work. You've done the hardest part. So you still got some hard work to do, but you've done the hardest part because you started. You've motivated yourself to get up and start. Maybe you're not sticking to the plan. Maybe you're not following through like you should. So that's where I come in, and I want to encourage you to do so. Okay? Just encourage you to do so. Burr says, hey, Lakeitha says, hey, Burr. So y'all, it's Tuesday, and already just like that, what's tomorrow? Hump day. Hump day. So y'all continue to have a terrific rest of your Tuesday. Remember, don't let bothered people bother you. Don't let stressed people stress you out. And if you find yourself in a lounge, in a place, in a situation, at work somewhere, at church, because we know how the church people can be, we know how the work people can be, in class, in the grocery store. If you find yourself in a place that you shouldn't be, even if it means just going over to the next aisle, grab your grip and go. Okay? G-Y-G-A-G. Grab your grip and go. Your grip can be your shopping buggy, your shopping basket, your shopping cart, whatever you want to call it. And don't be like me. I'm the type of person. They're gonna get back. I started trying to change that because there are too many more important things that you're trying to do than focus on some knucklehead that's getting on your nerves in the grocery store. Right? Use that time in the grocery store. Now, if you're in a hurry, you got to do what you got to do. Grab your stuff and go. Don't even take the time to let whatever they do aggravate you. Okay? But if you're just kind of in the grocery store and you're browsing, you know how people like to reach over you. Don't say, excuse me. Don't say, pardon me. Don't say, can I get this? If something falls off the shelf, it's going to cluck you because they didn't have enough sense to just ask you if you could, stand to the side or something like that. Because, I've done it before, y'all. Have you ever been in the grocery store, standing on an aisle, and you're just looking at something, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with it, or do you need it? And you're really just in somebody's way. Well, I've done that. I've been standing there doing that. But I expect the person to say, pardon me, please, or excuse me, or can I get this? Or do you mind if I get this? Or can I get here? Because I don't mind. If I mind or not, I got to get out of your way. You're in Walmart. I don't own that store. But when people just reach over you, and that's another thing that's geographical. like people like, it depends on where you're from. I won't say all people up north because my family is so diverse. It's like all the ones that live up north were either born in the South or raised by people born in the South. So we're big on excuse me or whatever the new phrase is, like, can I get right here? Just something. Acknowledge the person. Don't reach over because that's when you cross personal space. And I know you're shopping, you need to get what you get, but just have some decency, common courtesy. So if you're in any place where you're feeling like they're not, they're acting a little crazy, just grab your grip and go. If you're on your platform, whether it's YouTube, Insta, TikTok, Facebook, grab your grip and go. If you're in a chat and you're not feeling it, just leave. Or if they come into your space, into your chat, into your lounge, your area, put them out. Put them out. I say that all the time, y'all. Put them out. Ain't nothing wrong with putting them out. Burr says, yes, that has happened to me a couple of times because I'll stand there reading something or trying to decide on which one I want. I'll let people wait. Look, I be saying we got to acknowledge our flaws, right? And I'm standing here now picturing myself doing it. And I'm saying, get your ass out the way. Look, the same thing I would be thinking if it was them standing there. I got to tell myself, get your ass out the way. But some people are so headstrong and just so determined not to be wrong, or just so determined not to be told what to do by somebody else. I mean, at that point, I don't even look at them as telling me what to do. I mean, I'm standing there, and sometimes you don't even think about how long you really been doing something. Get out of the people's way. I gotta get out of these folks' way so they can shop. Gotta get out of these people's way so they can get their stuff. Y'all, it didn't even rain. I got my 2-story umbrella. I'm telling y'all, it's 2 stories. Look at that. 1, 2, and then here's the. I was gonna make sure. Today I was gonna make sure. Because sometimes when you leave out of the house and it's raining and it's windy, man, look, that wind will take those small umbrellas from you. Will take those small umbrellas from you. Yes, Bird, be all in people way. And I'm like, now as mad as I get, or as frustrated as I get when they do it to me, I gotta understand that maybe this lady's been standing back here for a couple of minutes. But just ask me to scoot over, please. But just don't reach over me. Especially you got kids with you, they go to reaching and stuff, trying to get canned goods or whatever they're trying to get, and that stuff get to falling down. So I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for spending some time with me, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to spend some time with me, multitask with me, do whatever you're doing. I hope you had a productive day. And productive can be many things, even if you sat down in your recliner and got you some rest, some much needed rest. Okay? That's right. Lakeitha says, as always, it's good talking with you, Lions Pride. I pray that you and the chat have a blessed. Thank you, Lakeitha. I pray that you have a blessed, you and your family have a blessed and wonderful night as well. You guys, I hope you're having a wonderful week. And I hope that you continue to have a wonderful week. And if something has made you mad or rubbed you the wrong way, listen, try to make the rest of your week great, okay? Try to make the rest of your week great. And if something is bothering you, I know that's easier said than done, but try your best. If you need to confide in someone who you know and trust. Because sometimes you tell your family something. You tell your sister, all your mamas and your brothers and everybody know it, your daddy. You know how it is. So we ain't going to even talk about it if you tell a cousin. But, find that one person to confide in. And if you feel like you just can't, what I've heard people say, sometimes just having a conversation with a total stranger, someone that they probably know they'll never see again, has been therapy for them. And if you just can't find that outlet, take it to God, because he already knows about it anyway. Well, Barbara said, especially in the meat department. No, it's probably because I can't believe some of those prices. Oh, it's Barbara, I know, right? Barbara, look, this is so mean. Look, I didn't. Ladies Live Pride, have a blessed day. You too, Barbara. Thank you for being in here, and thank you guys for contributing to the conversation. Because, like I like to say, you guys make the live, I make the live. Together, we make the live, right? So I appreciate each and every one of you. But Barbara, this is me right here. I done just stood back, looking at the price, patting my foot. I done stood back looking at the price, patting my foot like it's gonna change. Like it's just gonna change right there before my eyes. Again, thank y'all. I will see y'all hopefully tomorrow over here in Lions Pride on the next Let's Walk and Talk original. So y'all be safe, be blessed, be good. And if you can, join me tomorrow. Bye y'all.